Hi there, welcome to the Lad Mix Farm channel. It's Arthur here, and today we've traveled all the way to Lira district. We're actually in Lira city. I think, is it called Odul?
Well, this is Lira City East Division.
Okay.
This farm occupies two villages.
Okay.
Yeah, the other side of the farm is in a village called Onege.
Onege.
And this side is called Aduru.
Okay.
Lira City East Division. And for those of you who are well versed with the Lira, this is the road to Apala. If you proceed beyond this place, you can go to Leptong district and also Pade district.
Okay.
You can also proceed to Abim district in Karamoja.
Oh, thank you so much. Now here, our main interest actually, we are looking at cashew nuts. Remember now, this is one of the crops that is being championed, that can be a game changer for farmers out there, for rural communities. And so we want to find out, for those that are already into the business, how are they doing it? How do they come to start? So that, you know, they share their experiences and maybe motivate people out there that would like to start this whole process. At this moment, I think I'll request my colleague here to introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Julius Onen. Most people call me Julius Onen of Uganda, because I know there are other Julius Onens also somewhere else. And I am a very passionate cashew nut farmer based in Lira.
Thank you so much, Onen. In this particular orchard, there seems to be quite a number of engagement. What are you particularly doing on this farm?
I'm actually doing a number of things, but the major thing that I'm doing is cashew nut growing. It's important to note that cashew nut is a high value crop. Uganda from colonial days was zoned for a number of things. Northern Uganda was for tobacco and cotton, and since then those things have subsided.
Okay.
Western and central Uganda have been growing coffee, and they are still growing coffee. Now, it's important to note that the effects of climate change is here to stay with us, and it's important therefore for people to take up the growing of crops that are not only perennial but also contribute to mitigating the effects of climate change. Cashew nut is one. If you are going to make it 10 by 10, you can intercrop with, for example here, only that the plants are still small. There are soya beans, there is maize, and in some of the gardens, some parts of the farm, you are going to see rosemary. You have also seen basil in some of the places, lemon verbena, there is oregano, there is pomegranate, and we also have beekeeping as one of the things that we do on the sidelines. So when the spacing is right, you will get more. From the cashew you are getting your 150,000 shillings per tree, but you will also be able to get, for example, your 3,000 shillings per kilo from soya. You will be able to get probably your 100,000 shillings per square meter from the rosemary. So that's why we would really emphasize that you make the spacing correct so that you can be able to intercrop with others. Even if it's not you, you can let some other neighbor of yours who doesn't have land use that land to plant other things, and in the process will be weeding for you for free.
Indeed.
So when God has given us something, let's also learn to share with others so that you know, we get more blessings from God. Let's not be so self-conceited.
Okay, thank you. You've talked of some pests and diseases. Do you also recommend spraying some of these trees? Some of them look big. How do you go about controlling them, maybe through some of the agronomic practices that you use?
Yeah, cashew experiences also pests and diseases. Sometimes we get blight, and blight you can spray. We want to encourage as much as possible organic farming methods, as much as possible. I also rear rabbits, you know, so rabbit urine is a pesticide. Depending on how you mix it, you know, that's a topic for another day. You can use it as a pesticide. You can also use it as a foliage fertilizer, you know. So that is one of the things that I use here. But I also use a combination of things that I ferment from neem tree. I ferment it together with aloe vera. You know, when you have that plus chili, you combine that. Of course, that's a topic for another day. How you can be able to talking about it is very easy, but there's some science involved in it. Okay. So when you mix that and you spray, you know, you start spraying when these things are still young. Of course, when they grow this big, it becomes a challenge. How do you get up there? And the trees are not that strong. Sometimes, of course, some of my young boys climb up and then spray. Yeah, but sometimes they have to improvise, get a ladder, and then they climb up and spray. But as long as you control the things which are on the lower side consistently with those things that I've mentioned, even the pests and diseases which are up there will die by themselves. And you don't have to wait till when the whole garden is infested. And that calls for a lot of routine inspection. Once you see any of these trees exhibiting any of those signs of diseases, you treat them as and when they arise. There is no particular season that you say, okay, it is this season that to begin to do that. It's just like you. When you are sick, you don't wait for your holiday time, then you go to the medical doctor. So it's after inspection that you decide that now it's, I think, right to spray this particular tree. Yes, inspection is a key component of any farming practice, whether you're dealing with animals or plants.
Impressive. Do you recommend pruning of the trees at some stage?
For those who are involved in tree growing, especially fruit tree growing, this is also a fruit tree, although it is a nut, you will realize that pruning is a key component. Now, only that with the cashew, when you are pruning, surprisingly, the low-hanging branches of cashew are the ones that bear a lot of fruit. So it's important that you have to, for example, check inside, you know. Inside, as you can see, the low-hanging ones are the ones that bear fruit. So you go inside and you prune more from the inner side so as to create space for light, you know. But once the tree becomes so crowded with leaves, then you'll see that the production will even go low. Okay. So you prune more of the branches which are inside, not so much the ones which are outside. And the other thing which you should avoid is the trees forming a canopy, meeting at any point. Where they meet, even if the trees are very big and very old, where they meet, you will not find any nuts.
So you have to make sure there is a light penetration.
Light penetration. And that partly explains why we emphasize spacing of 10 by 10. Because with the kind of species that we have, they will grow and form branches of about 4.5 meters on either side. So if you have less space, they will meet.
8 years old, you came into this game quite earlier. How did you pick interest, you know, and the government is waking up right now and the other farmers, but you're already into the process, way into it? Well,
we appreciate the efforts of the government, but I think we as farmers should not be waiting for what the government is going to do. You know, many times we say, oh, government to Yambi. These issues of waiting for the government to help people won't take us very far. However, we appreciate every effort that the government can make to help the farmers. One of the challenges that cashew farmers in particular have, or farmers of any kind of high-value tree species have, is getting the right planting material. Now, I came into this because I worked in a certain project which was funded by the Dutch government. And I got interested in it, not because I was interested in cashew at that time, but it was a part of my job.
Yes.
You know, so after that, I realized that it was actually a very good thing. When, for example, I went to Mtwara in Tanzania, I saw that the young boys there were involved in cashew during the season, and off-season, they were driving their vehicles, driving tourists all around. And I asked them, whose vehicles are you driving? They said, these are our vehicles, which we got from the proceeds of selling cashew.
Cashew nuts.
So off-season, we drive this vehicle, we drive tourists as part of our business. And during the season, we employ other people to drive, and we are on our farm. So I said, okay, if that is the case, and this is a project which has come to Uganda, I will also take it up. I will not only stop at working as a project worker, but also take it up. So I started by establishing a nursery, you know, a tree nursery for cashew. And currently I also supply cashew nut seedlings But I also established this, I actually started establishing the other smaller orchard, which has only 118 trees. But this particular one where we are has 1,280 trees.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and so those are the reasons why I got involved in cashew.
So I do know that actually cashew is, you know, could be very lucrative to that to that level that, you know, people are buying easily cars and can, you know, substitute farm work with driving their own cars.
Well, for you to get to know that cashew is a very good thing, just go to any supermarket in Uganda. Try buying a pack of cashew. I think the smallest amount that you are going to pay for about 12 cashew nut seedlings or thereabout is 6,000 shillings. You know, other than that, you will pay a lot more depending on the quality that you want.
Harvesting done for cashew nuts.
Cashew nut, I think, is a lazy man's fruit tree, because once it matures, if it has really matured, it will fall down, and that's why it's important for you to keep the lower part as I don't know how to call it, but as habitable as possible for the fruit,
yes.
So that you can be able to see that the fruit has fallen down here. It falls, you know. However, if there are also many that are ripe up there, you can get a small stick. If it's really ripe, just a small touch, it will come down. But normally, they will fall down by themselves. I think you were able to see some of the nuts down here, because yesterday there was a lot of rain, almost a storm here. So the ones that could have stayed and kept on falling slowly by slowly, they all fell down all at once. So harvesting is very easy. It's just a matter of keeping the lower part of the cashew nut tree clean, so that you can be able to pick. And once it is the season, you have to check on a daily basis. You know, otherwise, you know, we have talked about diseases, but there are also predators. They are human pests, especially the children who know the value. They pick, they run with it, they go and roast. And they also want to assume that they have bought it from the supermarket. Yeah.
Oh, that's impressive. Now, you've talked of the magnitude of harvest you're getting, particularly on these big trees. But now we would also want to know, for a farmer out there, after planting, say after 3 years, the first harvest per tree, what would be the average kgs one can get before they can reach to your level?
Yeah, I actually mentioned it earlier, but for the purpose of repeating myself, from the third year, between the third and the 6th year, you're going to be getting between 3 to 10 kilograms per tree per year.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Between 3 to 10 kilograms. And then it goes exponentially. After 6 years, when the management is okay, you will be in your 25, 30, and 40, between 45 and 50. So of course, every tree will not give you the exact number that the other tree gets. It is just like all of us going and studying something, or not all of us will be that good in that area. Not all lawyers are good lawyers, so every tree will not give you the 50. Some will give you 45, others will give you 50, others will give you even 30. You know, but the average 1,000 shillings. You know, other than that, you will pay a lot more depending on the quality that you want. Cashew nut is really high value, but there is also a lot of work that is involved in taking the cashew nut to the supermarket. You know, it is high value because also there are so many things that go with it. The seedlings themselves are expensive. They're expensive because the cost of raising the seedlings is high. You know, each seedling, for example, in my nursery goes for 5,000 shillings. But I can guarantee whoever buys it that after 3 years, you will start harvesting. I can also guarantee that when you start harvesting and it is good quality, if you manage it well, I will buy all the seeds from you. You know, so if you have, for example, 200 seeds, after 3 years, you will start harvesting at least between 3 to 6 kilograms of nuts in the third year. 3 to 6 kilograms. But when it reaches between 8 to 10 years, with the good agronomic practices, meaning that you have spaced it well, spacing of 10 by 10 meters, and you have taken care of like powdery mildew disease, which is very common when there is high humidity. You've also taken care of blight, which is also very common when it is not well taken care of. If you have taken care of all those, between 8 to 10 years of growing cashew, you will be harvesting between 42 to 50 kilograms of nuts per tree. And that is what I do now with these trees, which are 8 years. And if, for example, you sell it at farm gate price of 3,000 shillings a kilo, you can do the math. If you have 200 trees and you are getting, for example, 50 kilograms per tree, and you are selling at 3,000 shillings per kilo, that is 150,000 shillings per tree, you know, per season.
Wow, that's great. Now you talked of if you're going to going to intercrop, they space it 10 by 10 meters. Now, for those ones who want to go commercial and maybe they are not interested in intercropping and would want to gauge adequately how many trees can fit in an acre, what would be the recommended spacing for a commercial farmer? Well,
I would still think that they should, where possible, make it 10 by 10. However, if you have a lot of land, I know some people have sub-counties to themselves. If you have a lot of land and you think that you can dedicate this land to cashew, then make it 8 by 8, 52 to 50. That's the average.
Thank you. For members watching you out there, what is your message to them?
My message to them is that one is climate change is here, and no one is going to run away from it. Just before you came, I think for 3 weeks we had no rain. There was only rain here yesterday. So thanks to God that probably because he knew you were coming, he said rain. So climate change is here to stay with us. I said this to all Ugandans. Please let us embrace tree growing, not tree planting, tree growing. Not this issue of planting a tree and forgetting about it. That's not tree growing. And let's plant, where possible, high-value trees. In addition to the other trees, which are also good, you may plant eucalyptus, plant pine, and so on. Those ones are good for timber. But let's go into planting of high-value nut trees. Macadamia is one of them. Cashew nut is one of them. Avocado is one of them. I personally advocate for cashew nut. The reason why I say so is because cashew nut can grow anywhere in Uganda. We have supplied cashew nut seedlings in Kotido, where people think trees don't grow. I can take you to Kotido now. We will get these trees, and those people are bringing nuts to me. We supplied only 2,000 cashew nut seedlings there. That was in 2018, but they are now harvesting. There is no place in Uganda where trees cannot grow. When we grow these trees, we are going to create a change in microclimate in each of these places. And when we do that, then we'll be able to affect positively the climate of the whole country. Uganda is one of the countries blessed with a lot of arable land. We actually have more arable land than even Kenya. Geographically, Kenya is bigger than us. But in terms of percentage of arable land that Uganda has, we have more. The problem is how we are using it, you know, and because we are not using it right, it is reflecting on us negatively. It appears like we are not producing anything. So if our neighbors who are very, very small are doing all these things, why not us who are very big? Rwanda here is doing a lot of macadamia. Macadamia. Rwanda is such a small country. But it is just the mindset of the people. And who is growing a tree knows that even though I'm going to wait for 3 years to start harvesting, yes, I can still benefit, I can begin to benefit from the fact that I've grown a tree right from year one. For those who have not yet started growing trees, please connect with the people who are growing the trees. Those who have the market, let's have those linkages so that the whole value chain is supported all through. Lack of information sometimes can discourage people. If you don't, God says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. If you don't have knowledge in anything, you may think it is impossible. You may think it doesn't work. You may think there's no market. You may think this thing takes too long, you know, but here we are. Cashew is a game changer.
And that's why actually we decided to make these journeys to find and search out for people like you have made progress in this area. And so members out there, if you feel this information is very helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. There we'll be able to know that you appreciate, and we can be able to go out there, search for more information. As he has said, I think we shall be documenting also how he has been able to successfully intercrop. He has intercropped with coffee, and he has passion fruits, he has dragon fruits, and so many, you know, crops out there. Maybe for purposes of members out there that would like to contact you, how can they be able to reach you? Any phone contacts or email or website?
Okay, you can go to www.alcode.org. Alcode is ALCODE. That's a website. But you can also reach me on 0772 589 628. And that number is also on WhatsApp.
Oh,
for those who are not on MTN, you can reach me on 0700 821 877. For those who can take the journey to the Republic of Lira, you will find me in Lira City East.
Yes. Thank you so much for you know, the time and the you know, the knowledge, the experience you've been able to share with us. Yeah. I'm sure members out there are going to pick it up. And as I said, we're going to again go for another episode so that we can be able to showcase some of these you know, engagements that you have here. Thank you so much.
I'll be happy to share whatever I have with more people. If I can get 1 million Ugandans to get involved in this, I will say hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.